Hello, I'm Ruby Jones. Welcome to Spotlight. This program uses a special English method of broadcasting. It is easier for people to understand, no matter where in the world they live.
The drug got control of me, and I could not stop. I tried everything.
Millions of people across the world take illegal drugs. They are addicted. That is, they depend on drugs daily. They are no longer in control of the drug. Instead, the drug controls them. Ranjit Singh is a former drug addict. David Bast shares his story.
I stopped going to school when I was 16 years old. I wanted to enjoy myself. I started working. I spent my earnings on alcohol, smoking, and finally, drugs. My friends and relations advised me not to, but I did not listen. I always felt that I was in control. By the age of 22, I was addicted to the drug heroin. At one point, I spent around $100 a day. I borrowed money. I even stole money from my mother. Then, I started selling drugs to make more money. In 1985, police arrested me for carrying drugs. I went to prison for a year. In prison, I decided to change. When I came out of prison, I got married. I believed that being responsible for a family would keep me away from drugs. Sadly, I only managed to be without drugs for 1 year. This time was worse. Now, I was not only destroying my own life, I was destroying the life of my wife and our first son. Life became bad. I could not keep a job and provide for my family. I treated my wife and son very badly. Deep down inside me, I knew that what I was doing was wrong. But I had no power over my addiction. I tried to kill myself, but failed. I grew up thinking that God exists. So I turned to Him for help. One day, I just cried out, "God, I do not know who you are, but I know that you exist. I believe you can help me. Please help me." It was a real cry from my heart. In the Christian Bible, God says, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." Three days later, I went to a church. I could not believe it. The speaker said he used to be a drug addict. Everything he said made sense to me. I learned that Jesus Christ had healed him, and Jesus Christ could heal me too. After the speaker had finished, I went to meet him face to face. He prayed for me. Then, someone took me to a Christian house for drug addicts. It's called The Helping Hand. There, I met other people recovering from drug addictions. They told me how Christ had changed their lives. I decided to ask Christ to change my life too. I have learned from a man in the Bible, Paul. He said, "I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot do it." But he also said, "I can do everything through Jesus, who gives me strength." God set me free from my addiction, and I learned from the Bible that I had become His child. I learned that He has a plan and purpose for my life. By His grace and mercy, I am living a new life.
Ranjit went on to work with the Helping Hand aid group for 9 years. Today, he is a minister. His story encourages other people in similar situations. Sadly, not all drug addicts have a successful escape story. Illegal drugs claim thousands of lives every year. Their stories also need to be told. Kendall Brooke Snedarsik died from the drug heroin. She was 23 years old. Her sister Nikki told her story. Liz Wade reads Nikki's words.
My sister Kendall was the 6th child of 11. I am the oldest. My mother had so many young ones to care for. Kendall became like my own. She was so quiet and good, but she did not express her feelings much. So we were never really sure what she was thinking or feeling. But I knew that she needed extra care. I tried my best to give her that. Kendall was about 13 years old when our mother left home. Kendall felt lost. A year later, she moved into a friend's house. At that time, Kendall was smoking the drug marijuana. She once said, "It is only marijuana. It is not a big deal. It is all natural." But when she was 15, her friend introduced her to another drug, heroin. Later, Kendall was expelled from university because of drugs. The authorities had discovered a drug injection needle in her room. At the age of 22, she went for help. I prayed hard, and things looked good. She completed the treatment program. Kendall seemed to be full of life again. She had stopped the drugs. She got a job. I was so proud of her. We will never know why she went back to drugs. I only know what I read in her writings. Her addiction was a fight for her life every day. No one really knew how hard it was for her. One night, my father telephoned. "Nikki, they say she is dead." I screamed and I cried. It was the sound of complete defeat. I had to see her. I walked into the hospital room alone. It was cold and very quiet. There was nothing in the room except a metal table. There was a person lying on top of it. Slowly, I walked over to the table. My whole body was shaking. It was Kendall. Her head was turned to one side. A tube was in her mouth. I moved closer to her. Her eyes were a little open. I looked into them. I knew she was not there. Her eyes were empty. She was gone. I started crying. Goodbye, my baby sister. Heroin will no longer harm you. I hate this drug. I hate it with as much hatred as a person can have. Heroin, I hate it. It only takes one bad decision to ruin your life and the lives of the ones who love you. Education is the best prevention of drug abuse. I wish I had known more. I wish Kendall had known more. Maybe she would still be here today.
June the 26th is the UN International Day Against Drug Abuse. The United Nations wants to educate everyone about drugs taking control of people. Stories like Ranjit's do offer hope for people already trapped by drugs. But stories like Kindle's speak to all of us. Drugs can and do lead to sickness, tragedy, and death. Say no to them. The writer and producer of today's programme was Marina Santi. Computer users can find our programmes on our website at www.radio.english.net. This programme is called Drug Control.